I thought, there's one way we might be able to make it work. There's one thing we've got that they don't have. And they might have more money than us, and they maybe know more people than we do. But we've got Surly Nation.
May 5th, 2011, Mark Dayton signed the Shirley Bill to let craft beer owners sell their beer at their brewery in the craft beer industry. It has created 667 jobs directly with the craft beer. It also has created 24,000 jobs for the wholesale or retail jobs in craft beer industry.
Hey, I'm Eric. I'm the Minnesota sales guy for Milwaukee Brewing Company, MKE.
What do you like the most about craft beer?
I love that craft beer is absolutely tasty. I enjoy it. It's just something different. It's been a big part of my life for a long time now. So, yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, so my name is Dan Parker. I'm with the Brooklyn Brewery. We also are with 21st Amendment Funkworks out here at the Beer Dabbler today. So I actually come from a chef background, so I got into beer specifically because of flavor. The way that beer interacts with food, the amount of different flavors that we have, the different profiles, it really opens up a whole lot as far as pairing goes. Everybody's familiar with wine and food pairing, but beer is actually a way better component, partner to food. So that's where I kind of got into craft beer. So yeah, just the huge array of flavors that we have at our disposal.
All right, Brian Mills here with Deschutes Brewery out of Bend, Oregon. My favorite part about craft beer is the endless variety and always being able to discover new things.
All right.
Nick Barth with Beaver Island Brewing Company, one of the co-founders here of Beaver Island Brewing Company in St. Cloud, Minnesota, just 2 blocks away from the River's Edge Convention Center. This is actually our 4th St. Cloud Craft Beer Tour. We did our world debut here 4 years ago. So every year for the St. Cloud Craft Beer Tour, we do a different beer. This year it's Revolution 4, which is a cherry doppeldunkel. And it's really exciting to see not only this event grow, but see our brewery grow in tandem. There's been a lot of opportunity for us each year to evolve our brand, and to see the Craft Beer Tour grow has been something special because this is our hometown. This is our backyard. When we were presented with the opportunity to become a larger player, we were really excited because if it's going to happen in St. Cloud, we want it to happen with us. So again, this is our town, and we're very proud of the St. Cloud Craft Beer Tour. And in the last few years, we've been honored with the Best of Show, and we're hopeful for today, but if it doesn't happen, that's all right too, because at the end of the day, we're all winners in the opportunity to be a part of the St. Cloud Craft Beer Tour and the craft beer industry in general. There have been a lot of ups and downs in the last 10 years, but I think the craft beer industry in general has been a bonded, well put together industry. Comprised of a lot of people who want the same result. We want to see craft beer be the #1 consumed beverage, and everything else is second to that. So, cheers.
How do you feel about the craft beer industry?
Craft beer is fantastic. I discovered craft beer myself probably almost 20 years ago at O'Hara's Brew Pub. That was my toehold into craft beer. One of the really fun things about Pantown Brewing is that we actually have the original O'Hara's equipment, and that's what we're brewing on. So for me, it kind of brings craft beer full circle, and it's fun to be able to say that that's the equipment that we're using on there. Where I discovered craft beer, now we're moving forward into craft beer and trying new things and really pushing the limits on what we can do.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I moved from Southern California here to open this with my brother, Tim Jones, and so we were just, surrounded by craft breweries and places opening up all the time, and just inundated, overwhelmed with it in California. When we came here, we just saw how much it's growing, and the community that the local breweries have, even the ones that have been here for a little while, along with the ones that have opened up since we've opened up, just help each other out and stuff. So it's wonderful to be a part of that community, and just to see the growth of a whole state getting into the whole beer community and craft brewing and stuff, as opposed to coming from California where it was already just so saturated.
Stuff's good. Always coming out with new stuff, always experimenting, coming out with new things to keep people interested and coming back to the tap room.
Beer industry's good, solid. So we all worry about bubbles because we've all been alive in the last 10 years. I still think that there's plenty of market share to go around right now as far as people are embracing small, independent breweries. We're starting to get back to that point pre-prohibition. And a lot of that had to do with logistics and refrigeration and all that stuff, but to where every town had their own, sometimes a few, breweries. They had the, and then you combine that with the fact that we can all travel a lot farther. I think it's wonderful. Because great beer alone, which is a good thing, just doesn't cut it. So, but I like to see everybody stepping up their game and actually making good quality beer. Where it's not just good beer alone that just sets you apart from everybody else. Because then that doesn't say a lot about everybody else. Right now we have a lot of great people making a lot of great beer. And I don't care who you are, that's awesome.
Craft beer boom in Minnesota also has helped festivals and underground music in Minnesota grow.
This is one of the primary events in our year. We try to get this unscheduled every time that we can and perform here. It's really a blending of all things that are amazing, right? You have craft beer, you have good music, and you have a fundraising event for a community-based organization, which their whole focus is about giving back. So, what's not to like about that?
Hey, I'm Robert Kasich, one of the owners and co-founders of 612 Brew.
I'm Jeremy Jones from Iyer Brewing Company.
Hi, Marty Check, Pantown Brewing.
612, like I said before, the name is synonymous with Minneapolis. We were one of the first production breweries in Minneapolis, one of the first tap rooms in Minneapolis too. So starting that upward trend of Minneapolis and the brewing scene comes with a lot of great responsibility as well. We work with local charities. We work with the community to give back. We every Wednesday we have a program here in the tap room where we give proceeds back to a local charity. We work with Inside Neighborhood Services to do some give back programs for 612 Brew. And we also try and get our tap room included in it too. So not only the employees of 612, but also the guests and our patrons and our regulars can come through and be a part of our give back program where we have initiatives to work with the local community to help give our time and give our dollars back.
Well, the Pantown idea, that was Noel's idea. He had that paperwork and everything filed long before he even talked to me, and we had a lot of discussions about whether that was the way to move forward or not, but based on our location, the part of town that we're in, and the fun connection to St. Cloud history, it was just a kind of a no-brainer in the end to do it. When we say no-brainer, we talked about it, but in the end it came full circle, and it was really fun to do that. And I didn't know a ton when we started this, but I kind of took it on myself to go to the Stearns County History Museum and research there, go through the exhibit, and then sit down in the research wing and talk to the researchers in there. I can't believe the amount of information that's available out there. People don't even know what was going on in St. Cloud in 1917, through 1919. There's a real good chance that we could have been a major automobile manufacturer, and it didn't work out, but it's fun to kind of go through the history and see what was there and where it could have gone. And Sam Pandolfo, the founder of the Pan Motor Company, was way ahead of his time. He was a major innovator, and so for people to have that connection to a automobile innovator and try and do that as a brewery, maybe be a brewery innovator, is kind of fun. We hope that we can live up to that legacy.
Hey guys, it's Desi, and we're standing in front of our St. Cloud Craft Beer Tour booth, representing for the Hop Shop, homebrew and wine supply store up here in St. Cloud, Minnesota. There's two ways of making your own beer on the homebrew level. You can either start with an extract kit, which is basically a pre-made wort that you just have to reconstitute with water, or you can do it from the grain. So you just take malted barley, they steep that in hot water, and then after about an hour, we'll boil that liquid, add some hops to it, any other flavors you want to add, cool it down, drop it in the fermenter, pitch the appropriate yeast for the style you want to make, and usually 7 to 10 days later, you've got a really nice beer. You either have to bottle it at that point in time and then wait another 2 weeks for it to be carbonated, or you can do it like I like to and put it in a keg, force carbonated and be drinking it in a couple of days.
So what's the number one thing that people do wrong in making their own beer?
The number one thing people do wrong, man, I'd say probably their mash temperatures are one of the biggest things that people will do wrong. They might either mash a little too hot or too cold. And then the other thing that's the most important thing to not do wrong is sanitation. So if you shortcut anything, sanitation is the one thing you don't want to shortcut. So some people will do that. They get a little infection in their beer and then they have an off flavor.
All right, so how do you feel about the craft beer industry?
Right now, the craft beer industry is actually I think it's in a great place for home brewers, and it's in a fantastic place for small tap rooms. My personal opinion right now, package market is getting a little bit saturated. You got a lot of options in the liquor store, but in all the small craft breweries with the smaller systems, they're doing great. We're getting more of them opening up every day, and those guys are actually making quite a bit of money off those little tap rooms, and I think we're going to see more of those coming along.
All right, great. 3, 2, 1.
Hey, I'm Eric from Mighty Axe Hops. We're here at the St. Cloud Craft Beer Tour for the first time, and we're here because we're your local hop farmer. We grow just up the road in Foley. We supply a ton of the breweries that are here. Hope you have a great day.
How and why hops? Where'd you start?
So hops are the main ingredient in beer. They're the most sexy ingredient in beer, and we started 5 years ago, just a couple acres, and now we grow 80. We're the largest hop farm from Michigan to Idaho. We're super lucky here in Minnesota to actually live in a state where we can grow hops. They don't grow too far south. So we're lucky as a craft beer community that we even can have local hops. Yeah.
I've always been into the video production world. I always did it on my own when I lived up in St. Cloud, and I found you guys on the website, so I was like, I gotta move to the cities, get more involved, and be the independent producer. Alright, my show is Stoked TV. It's on Monday at 6 p.m. Why you should watch Stoked TV is because it's stoked. Stoked in the breweries, stoked for Minnesota, bringing up underground musicians, craft beers, politics in the Minnesota area. It's just